And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. I hope you all are having a truly fantastic day today. Let's get right into this. So as we all know, Anthony Edwards recently made some statements where he put his entire foot in his mouth, where he completely disrespected the players of the past, and he has been getting properly criticized by many people. One of the latest, and I'm sure you guys have seen multiple videos on this, being the great, or I should say the greatest point guard of all time, Magic Johnson, where he basically said, hey, if you hadn't won anything, you can't even talk to me. Pretty much. This pretty much was Magic Johnson's sentiment. If you hadn't won anything, you can't talk to me. But in this video, we're going to talk about Kevin Garnett. Him and Paul Pierce were having a discussion about it. And Kevin Garnett, to me, ever since he did that interview with Adam Silver, he's been kind of a flip-flopper, you know, trying to toe the line, capping for the current generation, capping for LeBron, and then at times still speaking the truth. But I think Anthony Edwards' statement has triggered a lot of people to at least get close to telling their real feelings on the matter. And so in this clip we're about to listen to, I feel like Kevin Garnett kind of really lets loose about his feelings, not just about what Anthony Edwards said, but about these current players and the modern, and about the state of the modern NBA, the state of modern NBA basketball. So without further ado, let's get into this clip.
If I'm being honest, bro, I don't think anybody in this generation could have played like 20 years ago. If I'm being 100, and this is to everybody in our league, Tatum, all y'all. Let me tell y'all something, bro. 20 years ago, bro, you couldn't get to a triple step back.
Nah.
You hear what I'm saying to you? You couldn't get to a triple step back, and then if you shot that shit, it had to go in. You know why? Because we had efficiency back in the day, my dude, and it was so fucking hard. It was too physical. And guess what? The league had to come off of it for the flow of movement to be able to have scoring go up, which is why we like to sit here and watch kind of the rat race of the high-paced game, right? But bro, let's not talk about the gamemanship, and let's not talk about the physicality of the game back then. Real shit, because I only think half these kids in the league could have been on an NBA team 20 years ago. Straight up.
All right, let's start with this. And this is absolute facts. But it's funny because this is the first time I've heard Kevin Garnett say this. And this is facts. Like, most of these players could not play in the NBA back then. Like, again, we've said this over and over again. It is one thing to be able to dribble through your legs 2 million times because the defender has to give you space because there's freedom of movement and this kind of thing. It is a completely different skill set. Because this is what it is. Again, when they talk about the more skills, this is actually a falsity. This is what they really need to say is different skills. And these different skills don't equate to better. And I don't even know if you can really say different skills. It's really just a result of the game being easier, right? These are not different skills. But what I will say, it is a completely different thing to pull off these moves with someone being able to physically impede your progress. You know, if someone can physically impede your progress, you're not going to be able to go through your legs 50 million times. This again, you know, we always go back to Michael Jordan on this channel. And this is because, and I was thinking about this the other day, actually. Besides Michael Jordan's dunks and his layup package, what about Michael Jordan's game was actually flashy? What about his game was actually extra? Besides his dunks and his layup package. Outside of that, Michael Jordan, and we all know this, was just very surgical. And see, here's the thing that I feel like a lot of young fans, definitely you fanboys, don't understand is why go through your legs 2 million times if you can do everything you need to do out of the triple threat position? Why go through your legs 2 million times when you've worked on making your game as efficient as possible? Like, again, we talk about efficiency in so many different ways, and a lot of times, they just want to equate it to field goal percentage, but efficiency is also about how much time do you really need to get your shot off? And Michael Jordan, again, he was surgical. 1 or 2 dribbles, pull up, back you down from the post, turn to either the left or right shoulder, fading away. Michael Jordan was very surgical. Jab step you to death, pump fake you. But it was all fundamentally based. And, to go through your legs 3 million times is wasted energy. And I would argue that that is the opposite of efficiency when you have to do that. And again, this is what these current players don't actually have. It's true efficiency of scoring, meaning being able to score with the least amount of moves possible. This is what Michael Jordan mastered, and the people who got mentored by Michael Jordan had that same thing. Right off the top of my head, obviously we know Kobe Bryant, but Carmelo Anthony as well. And Carmelo Anthony talked about learning this from Michael Jordan. Doing drills where it's like, okay, 1 dribble and score. Okay, 2 dribbles, score. 3 dribbles, score. Like this is the important things that these modern players are missing. But anyway, let's continue.
The locker room was too grown.
You know what I watched too?
It was too grown. It was two of them. It was too much of a fraternity. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, man.
Just the handshake.
No, bro. It was a different vibration. David Stern did a great job of taking all of the physicality out of the game.
Okay, now let's talk about this next thing he said. See, again, even though Kevin Garnett is being somewhat real on this part, I still think he's holding back because he's saying, the locker room was too grown. The locker room was too grown. It was a different vibration in the locker room. But what I think he really means is that these players are too soft to be held accountable. I mean, let's get for real. This is what Kevin Garnett is saying. He's like, these players with these soft mentalities wouldn't be able to handle getting confronted in the locker room about stuff you did on the court. They wouldn't be able to handle that constant accountability that older players would hold you to. And I would argue, that the further the game goes on, the more it gets away from this. Like, I would argue that the current batch of NBA players, and I would say really from the players that came in LeBron's generation from 2003 onwards, like this is where that you can say that more of that definitive line happened of, it's hard to say that these players are grown men in mentality. Matter of fact, I would say these players are not grown men in mentality. These players are more entitled children. They're boys who never really reached manhood because they got everything too early. So they didn't have to keep developing. But anyway, let's continue.
Understand? Freedom of movement means freedom of movement. Man, back in the day when you had to get by Paul, because Paul was squared up with you and ready to slide, and then he could body you, he could poke, he could use his hands, but I can use my hands.
I could fight through a screen.
Bro, the shit that we saw in the Olympics, was similar style play when the guard can ride you damn near over the pick.
Yeah.
And if you don't know how to get out of that, and a nigga like Holiday, when he come out and he get over, he there. Right. So if you go to cross him, bro, you don't even. That's what I'm saying, bro. Man, the levels in which you had to be not only strong enough but skilled enough to get by this nigga in front of you. You know?
And yeah, another good point. He brought up the Olympics. And I think we all know the real reason, one of the reasons, there's many reasons, but a big reason that the U.S. has struggled for the last several years is really because they've been constantly making the NBA less and less physical when the rest of the world still plays a more physical brand of basketball. So it always takes the U.S. players some adjustment. Again, I always bring up Kevin Durant going against the Boston Celtics. When they let the Celtics play a little bit of physical defense, Kevin Durant was derailed. And this is a fact that no one can get over. Hey, you fanboys out there, you cannot get over this fact that Kevin Durant was derailed by some physical defense. And this is the thing, you know, to me, why the U.S. has not just dominated in the last several years, why they haven't just really dominated, is because of that. Why the NBA is finding ways to make the game easier and easier to allow the offensive player do whatever he wants. I mean, who knows what new rule is coming next? Anybody want to put some money that if LeBron plays another 2 years, they're probably going to make some kind of new rule change that benefits him to keep his scoring average up. Or who knows? Maybe they'll make another in-season tournament. So add some other kind of tournament so he can get some obscure award that nobody ever be able to get because they're going to get rid of it when LeBron James leaves. But anyway, yeah, like I said, constantly making the game easier while the rest of the world is playing a tougher brand of basketball. And then, two, is that entitlement attitude that the NBA has also, is why the rest of the world are not taking the chance to play basketball for granted. And this is what we have. Like, we have a bunch of entitled players. So you couple that with the fact that, you know, the sophist Commissioner Baltimore, you know, coddling all the players and you know, basically bending over to all their wishes. This is why the U.S. has struggled in the Olympics and FIBA in recent years. Anyway, let's continue.
Understand it then. They ain't never seen a 6'7" Rodman guard you. Bro, I see you. And you know, you're in the scout report. We know you go left. We know you can finish right, but you go left to pull up. Bro, everybody knows. Bro, niggas watching the games back then. Them Isaiah Thomases and the Dumars, man. Dumars shut Jordan down. Bro, they was coming to the lane, bro. You might get your nose broke trying to dunk. You understand? Dwayne Wade broke Cole's nose in the All-Star game. Man, bro, it's just different. It was very different back then, bro. Real shit. I'm talking about in the locker room. You can't be on your phone in the locker room. You can't. Bro, 20 years ago? Nah, nobody in this era could have played 25 years ago. We said that. And I'm talking about not just the play and all the skill that everybody got, actually was called bad shots and lack of efficiency. It was until they start fucking with all the data and saying take more threes than twos. Before then, we played ball, bro. We didn't give a fuck about all that other shit. And the GM couldn't come down and say, put into a game plan with a coach like Doc or D'Antoni talking about, we trying to get touches and touch the paint. Bro, I didn't see.
Yeah, it's hard to say more skill.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Nobody in this era has a mid-range.
You couldn't get, nobody.
Nobody in this era has a post game.
And the ones that do look amazing. Look at Shea. Shea got a mid-range.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
it's only like a few of them got.
That's what I'm saying, bro. 2 dribble, pull up.
Yeah, they don't.
Try to do it. Okay, young fella, if you hear me. And then y'all exhaust the ball. Y'all are dribbling the air out of the ball.
Right.
Y'all dribble the ball 100 times more than another nigga.
Right.
Catch it off the bounce. 1 dribble, 2 dribble, pull up. Let me see you do that off the bounce.
Right.
So this is what I was talking about earlier in the video, and he says it right here. It's like dribbling the ball 100 times. It's like, again, if we're talking about the skills, like I said, you know, maybe you can say the skill is different, but again, it's hard to give them any credit when they're constantly making the game easy. This is something that I really don't understand why it's not brought up each and every single time that someone tries to say the game is more skilled. Well, we know why it's not brought up, because this is not what the media wants to get out there. The media doesn't want everyone to know the truth. The media doesn't want everyone to question what they're saying about the more skilled narrative, because, you know, for optics, I guess it has to look like the NBA is progressing. They have to convince people that what they're watching now is the best brand of basketball. But again, you know, we know, those of us who grew up in the 90s, we know we were watching the golden era of basketball. Those of us who grew up in the 90s, we know that we were watching the golden era of basketball. And I've said this before, to me, the greatest of any field is when the greatest quantity of passion is met with the greatest quantity of skill together. And that was the 90s, where the passion and skill was at its highest. Again, you know, we say this all the time. And I'm actually working on a video to kind of break this down even more, to make it a little bit, at least try to explain it to the younger generation a bit more. But to try to get someone who didn't grow up back then to understand when we say basketball was a part of the culture. Like, again, today basketball is not a part of the culture at all. I mean, besides us on here talking about it on YouTube and us who are trying to combat the false narratives, you know, basketball is not part of the culture. And what I mean by that, for you younger generation who may be looking at my channel, what I mean is that basketball, you would literally see it in every facet of life. Like I said, people constantly talked about it in music. You know, everybody was rapping about MJ. You have songs about Allen Iverson, or people mentioning Kobe. Again, you know, all the shows that we watch, from sitcoms like Martin, My Wife and Kids, or, you know, all the different sitcoms. It was nothing for them to have basketball as a reoccurring theme in the sitcom. You know, Tommy, Martin, and Cole would go play basketball all of the time in Martin. We know the episode of My Wife and Kids where I think Jordan was actually on that episode. So yeah, it's like, and of course movies in the 90s, you know, go look up 90s basketball movies and the list that will come up will be incredible. You know, when's the last great basketball movie that has come out? You know, maybe I'm missing. Has there even been a great basketball movie come out within the last 10 years? Or even maybe longer than that. But in the 90s, it was basketball movie after basketball movie, like Above the Rim, Sunset Park, Love and Basketball, Blue Chips, The Sixth Man, White Man Can't Jump. That might have been right around late 80s to early 90s. But man, you know, the list goes on and on of great basketball movies that the 90s had, you know, that again. So trying to get someone to understand how ingrained in the culture. And again, this was all because of Michael Jordan and all that he brought to the game. But yeah, you know, Kevin Garnett saying that, hey, these players couldn't have played back then. I know it's hard to believe for the younger generation, and you want to think that because you see all the flashy moves that would translate. Like you want to think that would mean that they would cook the players back in the Michael Jordan era. But I'm here to tell you, like, that physicality is a completely different thing. But I'm gonna say this: we probably gonna wrap this video up in a second. But again, and I kind of mentioned this in the last videos, is you guys are getting cheated by them making the game so easy. The current generation of basketball, well, all generations of basketball fans are getting cheated by them making the game so easy, because making the game so easy fails to unlock the true competitor in someone. It fails to unlock greatness in people. You know, it fails to let people maximize their full potential when you are not creating obstacles. And this should be easy to understand, even for you fanboys. This should not be a hard concept to understand, that the harder you have to work to overcome something, the greater you will become. You know, again, as great as Michael Jordan was, overcoming that Detroit Pistons challenge is what turned him invincible. And so, yeah, you know, everyone is getting cheated by them making the NBA so easy. Like, yeah, it might be good for the immediate, but they are failing to unlock the true potential of these stars. They are failing to see who would really rise to the top in the most difficult of circumstances. Yeah, maybe it wouldn't look as flashy because, again, people, Kyrie wouldn't be able to do all those type of dribbling moves with some physical defense. He would have to switch it up. But this is the point. This is what makes everything worth more. Again, all 2 points aren't created equal. The 2 points that you have to battle for are much more meaningful than the 2 points where nobody's allowed to impede your progress to the basket. You know, the 3 points, when you're just chucking them up all day, it loses its impact. I mean, again, basketball, I don't follow basketball in the same way for a multitude of reasons. Now, obviously, since I started this channel, I follow it more just so I can talk about it. But one of the reasons is just the game is actually boring to watch. Who wants to watch someone chucking up threes for 48 minutes? Who wants to watch that? Like that is, yeah. Anyway, we'll go a little bit further. Let's see here.
Let me see your skill work off that. I ain't even known it like this, but bro, you can't come from niggas and not expect a rebuttal on shit. Bro, real shit, it was totally different. And you had to have that work, and you had to really work on your shit. And it wasn't no, you was out 2-3 games, man. Your teammates, hey bro, what you doing tonight? You going? Nah, I can't go, man. My toenail off, man. I can't. Nah, bro, you can't even come in here and lead no niggas like that. You hear me?
Nah.
So you had to strap it up, and you had to get out here. You had to dive on the floor. You had to get in the rumble. Yeah,
right.
Real shit.
Okay, I'm glad we went to this last little part. So to me, this is a very important part. And those of you who follow this channel, we talk about, I always say there's 3 parts to greatness: skill, will, and leadership. To me, all of the players in the top 5, top 10, they have this. And to me, Michael Jordan is the greatest player because he has the most of all 3 of these things: the skill, the will, and the leadership. And so here, Kevin Garnett, to me, he's basically saying that, hey, if you're the type of player who are going to sit out with the mildest of injury, aka the foot injury that you never got surgery for, aka ankle soreness, if you're that kind of player, how can you come and lead people? That was a great point that he made right there. To me, that is such a great point, that if you are the kind of player who, and what it comes down to is this: if you are the kind of player who can't fight through some adversity, you are not a leader. How can you lead people? This goes back to how can you tell other people to do what you aren't willing to do yourself? And if that is indeed the way you lead, how strong of a team can you have? If you are the kind of leader of a team who, who's sitting out with ankle soreness. This was LeBron's injury this past season. After he had the foot injury that he never got surgery for the season before. If you are the kind of leader that's sitting out with ankle soreness, then what you are saying to the rest of your team is, hey, this is acceptable to sit out when you have a mild injury. And this is a weak mentality team. Again, to me, this would explain why LeBron James has so many losses. This is a very weak mentality. You cannot lead people. You cannot lead men being that kind of a weak mentality kind of person. That was a very, very important point. You know, these players who sit out over anything. How can you lead somebody like that? What are you teaching your team by saying that, again, Michael Jordan at age 40 played 82 games. Mind you, the part that people rarely bring up is that when he was a Wizard, he was donating his salary to some kind of charity. So somebody drop it in the comments. I can't remember where he was donating his salary, but Michael Jordan was playing for free during the Wizards years. Let me see if I can look this up right quick. So Michael Jordan donated his Wizard salary to the victims of the 9/11 attack. So at age 40, while playing for free, Michael Jordan played 82 games, on a hurt leg. This is a leader. This is a leader. This is someone who's setting the example to his teammates. Say, hey, you fight through the adversity. You fight through the adversity. You show up every day, regardless. It doesn't matter what's happening. And so, this last point that Kevin Garnett made, to me, was 100% on the money. And, it's just a shame that more stars don't come out and speak their absolute 100% opinions on things, to tell the truth about how they really feel about this modern NBA. Because to me, this would make more of a difference. I feel like, creators in the independent space definitely make a difference. But, if more and more stars came and spoke out, which who knows, if these young players keep saying ridiculous stuff like they're saying, inevitably it's going to create a serious rift. I mean, you young people from the younger generation want to complain now about, people from the older generation just, living in the past and blah, 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 and won't give us any credit and blah, they complaining about this. But if these young players keep making statements like Anthony Edwards, it's going to create a serious divide to where no amount of money that these players are getting paid, I don't believe, will keep them from speaking their mind when they feel like they are being directly insulted. Because that would take a different level of capping. That would take a different level of capping to cap for someone who's directly insulting you. So so on that note, hopefully these young players keep coming out and saying stupid things, and that way some of these players will actually come out and speak the truth and give their honest opinion about these players from the modern generation. But anyway, we are gonna hold up here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, what did you think about what Kevin Durant had to say about the modern NBA players? A lot of them wouldn't even be able to play in previous generations. Do you agree with that? What do you think is going to be the ramifications of Anthony Edwards' comments? Do you think there will be more people coming out and actually giving their honest opinion because they feel insulted because they were part of that generation? Do you think Anthony Edwards is just one of many who have fallen victim to the narratives that they keep pushing? And do you think that's actually going to continue to spread into the younger generation to where there will be more and more disrespect towards the older generation? But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. You all have a truly fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. All right.